Yeah, on the Social Security Administration application, you authorize from the Department of Transportation for your driver's license is not necessary. It states here, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give a quick picture of this Social Security. This is, oh boy, messing up. This is a quick picture of the authorization from the Social Security Administration release form information. It says, my full name, that's you giving this information. It says, my date of birth. And then it says, my Social Security number. And then it says, I authorize the Social Security Administration to release information or records about me to name of person or organization, address of person or organization. Then you can fill that stuff in, and then it says, I want this information released because of whatever reasons they could put there. It says, we may charge a fee to release information for non-program purposes. And then they got information they could put there. Then it says, this information you authorize the government release the Department of Transportation. Then it says, please release. I'm going to read it. It says, please release the following information selected from the list below. You must specify the record you are requesting by checking at least one box. We will not honor a request for any and all records or my entire file. Also, we will not disclose records unless you include the applicable dates of range where requested. 1. Social Security number. 2. Current monthly Social Security benefit amount. 3. Current monthly supplemental security income payment amount. 4. My benefit or payment amounts due from date to date. 5. My Medicare entitlement from date to date. 6. Medical records from my claims folder from date to date. If you want us to release a minor child's medical records, do not use this form. Instead, contact your local Social Security office. 7. Complete medical records from my claims folder. 8. Other records from my file. You must specify the records you are requesting, e.g., doctor's reports, applications, determinations, or questionnaire. And it has information right here where you got to fill in some information. Then this is what got me messed up, because you authorized this. This is what it says here. Right down the bottom here. Right down here. It says, I am the individual to whom the requested information or records apply, or the parent or legal guardian of a minor, or the legal guardian of a legally incompetent adult. So they're saying by you applying for a driver's license, you automatically becomes an incompetent adult. I declare under penalty of perjury, 28 CFR, subsection 16.41D, 2004, that I have examined the information on this form and any accompanying statements or forms, and it is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. I understand that anyone who knowingly or willfully seeks to obtain access to records about another person under false pretenses is punishable by a fine of up to $5,000. I also understand that I must pay all applicable fees for requesting information for a non-program related purpose. Then it has signature, the date, address, and this is not stuff you're signing. You already signed the license for the Department of Transportation, whoever they want to authorize to sign this stuff on your behalf, so they benefit off of. Let me read the bottom of this thing. Then it says, relationship, if not the subject. It says, where it signs and addresses, it says relationship, if not the subject of the record. So if you sure didn't sign it, so the Department of Transportation signed it because you authorized them to, and for whatever reasons, give me a minute. Witnesses must sign this form only if the above signature is marked by X. If signed by a marked X, 2 witnesses to the signing who know the signee must sign below and provide their full addresses, which you already did. You provided the full addresses. And please print the signee's name next to the mark X on the signature line. Then it says signature of witnesses, 2 of them, address, street, Boom. That's the Social Security Administration consent release for information. And that's all the stuff is required for a driver's license. Now, what do they care about your Social Security number? Now, when they say they want information returning to your Social Security number, let me finish this. Okay. Just for those that don't know. Definition of Social Security number.
Social Security number in the U.S. A number in the format 0000000, unique for each individual, used to track Social Security benefits and for other identification purposes.
Tracking Social Security benefits for other identification purposes. And all this for a driver's license is not necessary. Now, the question is, why do I say a driver's license is not necessary? Interesting question. Because it states right here. I'm going to show you. You look at this and tell me what you see. It says, U.S. Supreme Court says no license necessary to drive automobiles on public highways or streets. And there's a lot of guys that from the Supreme Court says this. And I'm going to read some of these laws to you, just so you understand where I'm at, in case, if you're incompetent because you have a license, that's the only reason you won't understand what this is saying. And this is what it says. U.S. Supreme Court and other high court citations proving that no license is necessary for normal use of an automobile on common highways. It says, the right of the citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property thereon by horse-drawn carriage, wagon, or automobile is not a mere privilege which may be permitted or prohibited at will, but a common right which he has under the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Under this constitutionally guarantee, one may therefore, under normal conditions, travel at his inclination along the public highways or in public places, and while conducting himself in an orderly and decent manner, neither interfering with nor disturbing another's rights, he will be protected not only in his person but in his safe conduct. And it goes on to say, Thomas versus Smith, 154 S.E. 579, 11 American Jurisprudence, Constitutional Law, Section 329, page 1135. The right of the citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property thereon in the ordinary course of life and business is a common right which he has under the right to enjoy life, liberty, to acquire and possess property, and to pursue happiness and safety. It includes the right, in so doing, to use the ordinary and usual conveyance of the day and under the existing modes of travel, including the right to drive a horse-drawn carriage or wagon thereon, or to operate an automobile thereon for the usual and ordinary purposes of life and business. 3. Thomas versus Smith, Supra, Tech Lines versus Danforth, Mississippi, 12S 2D 784. You got to understand this one right here. The right of the citizen to drive on a public street with freedom from police interference. I'm going to say that again, because you people petrified of the police, and this is law. It says, the right of the citizens to drive on a public streets with freedom from police interference is a fundamental constitutional right. White, 97, California, APP, 3D, 141, 158. Citizens have the right to drive upon the public streets of the District of Columbia, or any other city, absent a constitutionally sound reason for limiting their access. And I'm going to tell you this much. The only constitutionally sound reason they have for limiting your access is the fact that you applied for a driver's license, opposed to having a guaranteed constitutionally right to travel. You apply for a driver's license. So that's the reason and I'm going to give another example. Let me give you an example. Say, I'm riding down the street by myself, minding my business. All of a sudden, all these red and blue lights is turning on, horns blowing, sirens going. I was just calm for a minute. Now I'm petrified. I'm scared. Oh, God. So, all this noise and lights. The average person would be petrified, scared. All of a sudden, close encounters of a third kind just rain down on you. You pulls over. Here come these two officers coming up on both sides of your car. One on your side of the door, the driver. The other on the passenger side of the door. Okay? Now, the average person would be just nervous because they're being approached by strangers. All right? Now, what do they want? License, registration, and insurance? There's no law saying you have to have a license. Now, for those of you who do have those licenses, what do you do when the cop asks you for license, registration, insurance? You give them what you got. Okay? Now, you give the license, registration, insurance. What do the cop do with those items you just provided him with? Here goes what he do. He make you sit in the car while they go back to their car. They're going to put their hands on their computers in their car, and they're going to punch up the numbers on your license. And the first thing they're going to check for is see if you got any warrants out for your arrest. That's the only thing they're going to check for. What do you use the license for? What good is the license for a cop to check? Only thing a cop will check is if you got a warrant. And for them to check to see if you got a warrant, they have to have your name and your address and a photo of you in their system. See, you got all that because you applied for the license. Now, look at it like this. I don't drive with a driver's license. So, they pull up on me. What do I do? What do I do since I don't have a driver's license? I don't have a driver's license, sir. So, what do you do to a person who don't have a driver's license? Matter of fact, how do you ticket a person who don't have an identification? For you to get a ticket, you need a driver's license. So if a cop stops you and you don't have a driver's license, what can he do to you for not having identification? See, he don't have anything to put in his little machine in his car. He got to run your stuff through his machine in his car. But when he run that stuff through, they just run it through to see if they can hit jackpot. Oh, bing, he's wanted. Can you get in his car, put your hand behind your back, be taking you in. All because you provided him with the information to take you in. But if you don't have a driver's license, he can't take you in. They can scare you, try to detain you. We taking you to the district, and we want to find out who you. It want to find out who you are. Now, let me ask you a stupid question. What's the point in a cop trying to find out who you are if you haven't even committed a crime? What's the point in going through all this, having your rights violated to prove to this stranger who you are when you don't even know an ultimate explanation to you ask them who he is, and we want to know who you are for what? You haven't done anything. He pulling you over and you owe him an explanation. I'm back to not talking to strangers. These cops are strangers. Their job is to put you into fear, and deceive you. Their job is to intimidate you, and keep your heart pounding and racing. Their job is to keep you in a state of confusion. But I'm just sharing with you what else do a cop want your license for? He's going to see if your license is valid. If they are valid, let me remind you. I'm going to go back to your application. It states right here on the application, I certify on the penalty of the law that all information on this application is true and correct. If that is the case, then you certify on the penalty of the law that all information on this application is true and correct, and you run your license. If you certify under the penalty of the law, that's why cops place you under arrest. They can't place somebody under arrest who haven't applied for a license to certify under the penalty of the law. If you haven't authorized this for this application under the penalty of the law, then you're not under the penalty of the law. Only person under the penalty of the law, the person applied to be under the penalty of the law. Now, if you don't believe this, you maybe look at this for yourself. You must apply to be under the penalty of the law. Now, this is the bottom of the application for a driver's license. Just the bottom part. You look at it. I mean, if I'm messing up, it says, I hope you see this. It says, I certify on the penalty of the law that all information given on this application is true and correct, and I hereby authorize. So when it says I hereby authorize, you must have authority. Because where your signature goes, it says I authorize. So if you authorize it, authorization comes with power. That's power in the signature. But when you authorize this, then you just waived all of your rights. Now, when you had rights, when you applied for the driver's license, you just gave them up because you have no more rights. Just applying for the driver's license. Let me tell you why. Because as a United States of American citizen, you're governed under the Constitution of the United States. Okay? You have all these constitutional guarantees under the Constitution of the United States of America. But when you apply for these driver's license, now you apply to be under the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You're no longer protected under the Constitution of the United States. You apply to be governed by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now you're governed under the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, opposed to the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Constitution of the United States of America. Now understand this: all state laws are unconstitutional. So you can't go into their courts talking about my rights, because you have none. Only rights you've got to protect you is in the federal courts. That would be Sixth and Market, the Court of Federal Claims, the Supreme Court of the United States, not the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, not the courts of City Hall in Philadelphia. Those courts govern under the Pennsylvania Constitution. And the Pennsylvania Constitution is designed to protect the interests of the state. No people have rights in the state. Only person got rights within the state is the state itself. The Constitution for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is designed to protect the rights of the state. The Constitution for the United States of America is designed to protect the rights of the people. But when you went into contract with the state with the driver's license, you gave up the rights. The Constitution for the United States protected you. When we went into contract with the Commonwealth or any of these 50 states, then you went to contract with the states to be governed by. That's why when you live in these states, you vote for a committeeman, councilman, mayor, senate, and these people within the state. So you're governed by the state that you reside in. That's why they want your name and your address. So when they get your name and your address, they punch it in that computer, and they see who you are, that you belong to them, then they can place you under arrest because you belong to them. I hope you're getting some of this stuff. So, bottom line, you don't need a driver's license. For y'all who understand it, but it clearly states in this paperwork right here, on the release of an application for Social Security Administration, it states, I'm going to say it one more time before I cut y'all off this time. It says right here on the release form for Social Security Administration, going to release the information to the Department of Transportation. It says one more time, I am the individual to whom the requested information or record applies, or the parent of a legal guardian of a minor, or the legal guardian of a legally incompetent adult. So the only person they could be talking about is the person who applied for this driver's license and placed their name on it where the notary sign goes. You didn't even know they notarized the application. The only thing you know is that when you fill out that piece of paper, you went to the desk at the Department of Transportation, and you gave it to the counter, and they told you, go sit down, take a number, and get a picture, not knowing the person you gave the application to was a notary. They didn't sit there and stamp the paper in front of you. They kept the paper, and they took it with them. See, if you signed it and they gave the paper to you, your rights is reserved. But when you waive your rights, you don't get no copies of your signature. It's not guarantee you every one of you people who got a driver's license don't have a copy of that application you got, you applied on it with. The state got that copy because your butt belongs to the state. You don't have the application. You go to any DMV and you can look at these applications and you can see none of you put the license home, but your signature stayed with them. So when you violate any of these rules, you gave them the authority to place you under arrest because you certified under penalty of the law. Now I'm out. It's nice talking to you people. I hope some of you get it. The other ones might need a little bit more time, but I'm just trying to share some good information with people who, ain't been informed. Peace out. Good day.